Stay tuned for next story. Herky uses his head.
JJ and Tracy were working hard to learn the new route between Terrytown and Frosty Pines. They studied the flight plan every day until they knew each and every mile by heart. Frosty Pines was a plum of an assignment. And any day now, either JJ or Tracy would be named to fly the route for Easy Airlines. The village of Frosty Pines was a beautiful ski resort in the northern mountains. Herky, who was an expert skier, loved the place. Every winter, he spent every spare moment skiing its magnificent slopes. In fact, the peppy little helicopter was known far and wide as the Ski King of Frosty Pines. The big day for JJ and Tracy finally arrived. Easy O'Malley was ready to announce his choice for the Frosty Pines route. He studied the little Chet's faces, scratched his chin, and said,
"You're both trained so hard. I'm faced with an impossible decision. I suggest we flip a coin to decide."
"That sounds fair to me," JJ said.
"Sounds fair to me, too,"
said Tracy. Easy O'Malley flipped the coin. While it was in the air, JJ called tails. The airline owner examined the coin and said,
"Better luck next time, JJ. It's heads. That means Tracy gets to fly the new route."
Next morning, as she took off for Frosty Pines, Tracy was very excited. On the way, something unexpected happened. Herky popped out of the clouds.
"We'll want some company to Frosty Pines?"
he said with a grin. All the way there, Herky talked non-stop about his skiing, his cross-country skiing, his alpine skiing, his ski jumping, his ski medals and ski ribbons, his favorite ski runs. By the time they reached Frosty Pines, Tracy was ready for a little peace and quiet. As she circled the land, Herky took off for the snowy slopes. Back at Terrytown Airport, JJ told Big Jake how disappointed he was over not getting the Frosty Pines route. "I know you're disappointed, but if you're patient and keep working hard, one day you'll get your own route too." After a long layover, Tracy began a return trip to Terrytown. She was only a few miles from Frosty Pines when she heard Herky call out,
"Hey, Tracy, wait up!"
All the way home, Tracy listened as Herky talked and talked and talked about his great day of skiing. Arriving back at the hangar, Tracy saw that JJ was unhappy.
"JJ, you're upset about not getting the Frosty Pines route, aren't you?"
she said.
"Yes, I am,"
JJ said with a sigh.
"You know what, JJ? I can't enjoy flying the route if you're unhappy about it."
"Thanks, Tracy. That's nice of you to say. But what do you think we should do?"
"Why don't you fly with me to Frosty Pines tomorrow?"
she said.
"That'll give us plenty of time to figure things out."
Next morning, as Tracy and JJ were on their way to Frosty Pines, Herky popped out of the clouds.
"Will the mind if I tag along?"
he asked.
"Herky, if you don't mind, JJ and I need some time alone to talk,"
Tracy said.
"Why don't you fly ahead?"
said JJ.
"We'll catch up with you in Frosty Pines."
Herky didn't understand why his friends didn't want to fly with him. As he turned and headed for Frosty Pines, all he knew was that they seemed troubled about something. Out on the slopes, Herky couldn't get JJ and Tracy out of his mind.
Maybe they're mad at me,
he thought.
Maybe they don't like me anymore.
Herky was thinking so much about his friends, he forgot to pay attention to his skiing. All of a sudden, he found himself rocketing down the steepest, most treacherous ski jump in Frosty Pines. Faster and faster he sped downward, then zooming off the end of the jump like a lopsided cannonball, he tumbled and toppled higgledy-piggledy through the air, and before he could right himself, he landed kersplat, rotors first, in a mound of soft snow. He wasn't hurt, but he was hopelessly stuck upside down in the cold, cold snow. Herky examined his predicament, then muttered to himself,
How embarrassing.
By the time JJ and Tracy arrived, a huge crane was about to lift Herky out of the snow.
Herky, are you all right?
Tracy asked.
I think so.
Herky said.
Anything we can do to help?
Asked JJ.
Well, yes.
Herky said, his teeth chattering from the cold.
You can answer one question. Do you still like me? Of course, Herky. We love you.
JJ said. Herky grinned.
And we can still have fun together?
Well, yesterday I was thinking that your ski stories were getting kind of old.
Tracy said.
But you know, I decided that I liked your old stories.
That's good.
Herky said.
I have hundreds of them.
As the three friends flew home, JJ and Tracy told Herky about their dilemma.
The problem is, Herky, the Frosty Pines round is something both of us really want.
Tracy said.
That's no problem,
Announced Herky.
You can both fly the route. But how?
Asked JJ. Herky rolled forward like a bowling ball, smiled at his friends, and said,
You can share it. To take the turns.
Of course!
Tracy cried.
I can fly half the time. JJ could fly the other half.
JJ broke into a big smile and chirped.
Great idea, Herky. Thanks a lot.
Herky grinned and said,
Now that that's settled, let me tell you about the time I skied at the North Pole.
Stay tuned for next story. Snuffy and the Snowman.
One winter morning, Snuffy awoke in a wonderland. A frosty white blanket of snow covered everything in sight. Snowflakes fluttered in the breeze like billions of baby butterflies. There was something special in the air, something enchanting, and it wasn't just the snow. Across the tarmac near the terminal, Snuffy saw old Oscar staring at a huge snowman. He rushed over to investigate, but as he did, old Oscar hurried away. The little Skyrider moved up close to get a good look at the snowman. He had a carrot nose, big button eyes, and a smiling mouth made with pieces of coal. A long blue scarf was tied around his neck, and on his head sat a big black derby with a pink hatband. As Snuffy studied the snowman, he got the strange feeling that the snowman was studying him.
What do you think, Snuffy?
It was a voice out of nowhere. Snuffy spun around, and there was Brenda Blue, the airline's ace mechanic.
I made him all by myself.
She said. Snuffy was very impressed. Gee, Brenda, he's great. He almost looks alive. Later that day, Snuffy joined JJ, Tracy, and Savannah on a sightseeing trip to the nearby hills. They stopped at Savannah's favorite overlook. It was the perfect spot for taking in a grand view of beautiful Tarrytown Valley. Above the snow-covered landscape, white puffy clouds floated high in the sky.
Look, that cloud looks like a big fish,
JJ said.
I see it. And there's one that looks like a flower,
said Tracy.
Yes, it looks like a daisy, doesn't it?
Savannah said. Snuffy thought that he saw something else. Do you see that cloud that looks like a snowman? He asked. JJ didn't see it. Tracy didn't see it. Nor did Savannah. There he is, going behind that big cloud on the right, Snuffy cried. But his friends still didn't see it. Snuffy began to think that what he had seen wasn't a cloud at all, but a real snowman. When it was time to go, he decided to stay a little longer to watch the clouds for the snowman in the sky. As soon as the others had gone, Snuffy returned his gaze skyward, and within a few moments, the snowman reappeared. He smiled at Snuffy, then flew out of the clouds and swooped down toward the hilltop. Circling just above Snuffy's perch, the snowman said, "Want to come fly with me?" "Fly with you?" Snuffy couldn't believe it. "Sure, I'd love to fly with a snowman." And with that, they took off together for the sky blue sky. Snuffy thought his flying companion looked a lot like the snowman that Brenda Blue had made. He had a carrot nose, big button eyes, and a smiling mouth made of coals. He wore a long blue scarf and a big black derby with a pink hat band. "How curious," Snuffy thought. Then he said, "I didn't know snowmen could fly." "Really sorry, life is never boring with magical, imaginal eyes. Since I found them, I've never been without them, my magical, imaginal eyes. You never can guess what you'll see in the sky. A book on the wing, a duck in a tie, why even a train or a snowman might fly with my magical, imaginal eyes. With my magical, imaginal eyes." After a fun flight, Snuffy landed back at the hilltop. As the snowman was circling to say goodbye, a gust of wind blew his hat straight up into the sky. "Whoa, there goes my derby," he cried. "I'd better go get it." Snuffy watched until the snowman disappeared into the clouds. As soon as Snuffy got back home, he sped across the tarmac to see if the snowman was there. Sure enough, there he stood. Carrot nose, big button eyes, smiling mouth, long blue scarf. But there was one thing missing. His big black hat with the pink hat band. Snuffy greeted the snowman with a smile and said, "I guess you couldn't find your hat." The snowman said nothing. He just stared straight ahead. Just then, Brenda Blue walked up holding the snowman's derby. "Guess what, Snuffy? Big Jake found this hat way across the valley," she said. "How do you think it got there?" Snuffy asked. Brenda Blue looked puzzled. "Good question, Snuffy. I guess it was the wind." "Yes, it was probably the wind." Early the next morning, Snuffy rushed out of the hangar to see the snowman. "I'll meet you at the hilltop," Snuffy whispered. "We can fly all day long." The snowman made no reply. From the hangar, old Oscar watched as Snuffy sped down the runway. The little Skyrider was looking forward to another fun day with his new friend. And as he flew across the valley, he sang the snowman's song. "Really sorry, life is never boring with magical, imaginal eyes." "My candy, always keep 'em handy. My magical, imaginal eyes." Suddenly, Snuffy heard another voice singing the song. He spun around expecting to see the snowman. But instead, much to his surprise, it was old Oscar. "Oscar, how do you know the words to the song?" Snuffy asked. "You know what, Snuffy? I'd forgotten all about that song until I heard you singing it," old Oscar said. "But Oscar, how did you learn the song in the first place?" "Well, son, many, many years ago, when I was about your age, on a snowy day just like today, a strange thing happened."
The end.
Is everybody ready? To sing along. It's Disney songs. Now you at home can sing along with your favorite Disney song. We will play every note so you can sing along. Join right in, sing along with your favorite Disney song. Won't you learn every word you'll want to sing along? But I don't know all the songs. We'll make sure you can't go wrong. Sing along, one and all, follow the bouncing ball. You'll find out before you're done. Music's fun for everyone. Join right in, sing along with Disney, sing along song.